So should I be right in front of it, kind of?
That's perfect.
That's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like two people have all
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to get started very shortly. Today's going to be a fantastic program. Tiffany Jeffers in the house. I'm very excited about spotlighting her journey to Charlottesville and her journey as a mom of two and as an entrepreneur and her military background and what makes her tick here on the I Love CVille show. If you'd like to offer her some perspective or some encouragement or some questions, you can put it in the comments box of any of the Facebook pages you're watching the show on. So give it a like, give it a share, and we will get started here in a matter of moments. You feeling good, Tiffany?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Good.
All right, Judah, we'll watch Judah. He's going to give us some instructions and we'll rock and roll.
Cool.
Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille show. It's Jerry Miller. It's good to be with you on a Wednesday across Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Back from California, spent 4 or 5 days on the West Coast doing a little work and spending some time with the family. Got a recharge and recentered and reinvigorated to bring it back, this positive energy to Charlottesville. So excited to connect with you guys through this platform. I'm excited to spotlight Tiffany Jeffers. I've had about 15 to 20 minutes to speak with her kind of before the show to prep. She's fabulous. Definitely has the gift of human connection, which we're excited to spotlight. We'll talk about her journey to Charlottesville, her journey as an entrepreneur. She's going to join us in T-minus about 60 seconds or so. We will give some props to some of the clients that help make us tick here at VMV Brands. We are an advertising agency. The I Love CVille show, a small component of what we do. Advertising is what we do from a day-to-day standpoint. And two of our favorite clients, Scott Wagner and Interstate Pest and Service Companies. Anything that interfaces from a marketplace standpoint with either of those two brands originates on the first and second floor here in the Macklin Building on Market Street. Interstate started in 1969 with the first generation, Mr. Robert Wells. He used his personal truck and some sweat equity, and he built a business that is now 4 generations of family strong. And ladies and gentlemen, almost 100 employees and a Commonwealth-wide footprint. Interstate, we salute you for making the community better through your social entrepreneurial efforts in Charlottesville, Central Virginia, and in the Commonwealth. We will also give some props to Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Dr. Wagner, thank you for being a part of our team and this show. We enjoy working alongside your brand, chiropractic care, physical therapy, sports medicine. Dr. Wagner has your back. Judah Wickower, you're the director, my friend. Why don't we go to the studio camera? And then we will go to the two-shot with us. Welcome to the program, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure. We will give some props to your friend, Heather, who made the email introduction. Heather came on the show. She crushed it, as we both knew she would. She's like, you got to get Tiffany on the show. She's a badass. She is a rock star. Get her on. So she said that, and I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Right.
Talk to us about the connection with Heather.
Well, she's a businesswoman here in town, and she was interested in working with me. And so we started working together, and so it was a business relationship.
Okay, I love it.
Yep.
All right, so you personally, we're going to humanize, localize, and personalize you. Who is Tiffany? What makes you tick? What are you all about?
Well, I love my husband,
Okay.
and I love my kids,
Nice.
and so that is kind of my thing. And we're a part of a church here. It's the
Okay.
Blue Ridge Church of Christ, and we love the youth and family ministry there. These are kind of the basic things, and I just love people. So that's kind of what makes me tick.
I love it. I love it. So your background here, give us the flip book kind of like of your life, your birth story. You grew up in Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Okay, tell me about Minnesota. You know I'm going to ask some Minnesota stories in the Minnesota accent here. Give me the Minnesota stories here.
I've got so many.
There's not too many Minnesotans. Is it Minnesotians? Am I saying it right?
You can say Minnesotans.
Okay, Minnesotans?
Minnesotans.
Minnesota. There's not too many Minnesotans in Charlottesville, Virginia, are there?
No, I did meet one.
Yeah?
at
And did
Rebe-
you freak out?
She was like, it was so cold, I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met her at the store, Rebecca's. But yeah, I was born and raised in Minnesota.
Okay.
And then, generally, very tough, farming community.
Uh-huh.
Grew up, Top Gun had come out.
Okay.
And I joined the Navy at 17.
Okay.
And quickly went to Florida and then went over to Europe for a good while. Came back, was stationed in Norfolk, was there for, over 20 years, and then moved to Charlottesville about 8 years ago.
Minnesota, childhood, what was that like?
Well, it was sometimes cold,
Yeah, I
as you
bet.
can imagine.
Yeah.
Overall, it was good. Early childhood was pretty challenging because my parents went through a divorce and
Okay.
stuff like that, so it was pretty challenging. But I have really great grandparents
Okay.
and my uncles, and my mom ended up remarrying, and things ended up working out. But it was pretty challenging in the beginning.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How would you characterize yourself growing up? Were you like a tomboy? Were you, how would you describe yourself?
I was really tough.
Yeah, I bet. I totally could tell that. Okay. So why really tough? Just because of the circumstances of what you were going through?
No, I mean, I just think I'm me, and I'm just super happy and bubbly, and I just love adventure.
Yeah.
So I accidentally fell on the ice one time. My grandpa told me not, to run ahead of him,
Yeah.
and that'll wake you up, 8 years old,
Yeah.
And so, just things like that, I think just toughened me up and stuff like that. Driving the tractors. My uncles were, into racing, pretty much anything.
Okay.
My cousin's a professional snowmobile racer.
Wow.
Stuff like that. So I think
Professional?
snowmobile racer. Mhm.
Really?
Yep.
Tell me about that. That's cool.
It is cool.
Right?
Yeah, I miss snowmobiles.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really do.
So is there a track?
Well, yeah, basically, but it's, out in, nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very
My grandpa
cool.
was somebody that helped maintain those
The trails?
hmm
That is very cool.
Yeah.
So when you told your family you were going to join the Navy, what was the immediate response?
Okay. Well, my stepdad always wanted to be in the Navy,
Okay.
so it was kind of like cool, but I was a bit rebellious, so I think he was like, "What are you doing?" And then they were very supportive of it. My great uncle was also in the Navy around Pearl Harbor time, and so they were pretty supportive.
Which aspect of Top Gun encouraged you to join the
Oh
Navy?
my goodness,
It's one of
that
my favorite
movie
movies.
is
I know,
hilarious,
it's
but it
amazing.
came out,
Yeah.
it was like epic,
It was so
like
epic.
advertising.
Right.
The Navy got so big. It really got big after that.
Right.
I loved the movie. I just thought it was, again, full of adventure, just this idea of you can go, travel, I was already into like a lot of team sports, and so I thought that'll be really fun.
What team
Mm-hmm.
sports?
Well, I did, oh my goodness, I did so many things. I know gymnastics is more of like an individual, but I liked gymnastics and the camaraderie there.
Yeah.
And then I did cheerleading and dance line and, just weight training and stuff like that.
So staying active. When you're joining the Navy, you're like, I'm going to be able to see the world. Homesick right away or no?
Oh, yeah. In
Yeah?
boot camp, I totally was. I would
Yeah?
cry at night.
Really?
Yeah, but I was tough during the day.
Okay, so you're crying at night. Are you doing this into your pillow? No one's hearing you?
Yeah, I was
Yeah?
trying.
What was boot camp like?
It was pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. Like, it was hard at the time until I had kids. And then, you have babies and you're like, oh my goodness, boot camp was easy. You could at least sleep from, 9 a.m. to 4:30.
So boot camp is a piece of cake to motherhood?
True that.
Really? Oh my gosh. My wife's
At least
watching
you get
right
to
now.
sleep.
Yeah. She totally, we're 19 months in. You have a 15 and an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
So you're like superstar status here compared to our 19-month-old status with our kid. It is so hard. And we will get to this in a matter of moments. My wife actively works in the business, and right now she has a laptop on one knee and our son on the other knee. And she's
Yeah.
doing some kind of like project management. She's watching the show. As soon as I get home, she's going to give me like a punch list. These are 3 things that the business could have done better today. 3 things that you could have done better today, Jerry. And these are 3 things that I like in the direction that we're heading. And I'm like, you're a keeper. Sometimes you don't always want to hear it, but someone who gives you like honest advice, even
Yeah.
though you may not want to hear it at the time, is someone you want around long term.
Right.
So I
Truth.
want to get to the motherhood. I want to get to. I first want to dot the I's and cross the T's on being in the Navy. When you're in the Navy, you're going through boot camp. You're figuring this out. Was there any point of your life where you're like, this is going to be a career path for me, military service?
Well, when I joined, I was like, I'll do 20 years.
Okay.
And then I went to boot camp. I was like, okay, this is hard. It's good. It's like fun. You know what I mean? It was like a big team sport to me. It wasn't so bad. And then getting on a ship, traveling the world, again, not super bad, but like, whoa, talk about culture shock. Going from being in Minnesota, rarely traveling, loving being on a tractor, you know, doing kind of farming things to, you know, being in the military. It was a big shift. So then after I was in for just not a short period, I thought, you know what, I'm going to use that that GI Bill that my company commander basically told me I need to get.
Yeah. So college paid for. That leads you to Old Dominion University?
Yeah.
Okay. In Norfolk, Virginia.
Yep.
My cousin went to ODU, loves some ODU. Talk to me about going from the Navy to ODU and that transition from being in the Navy to being a college student. What was that like for you?
That was very interesting as well because I wasn't just in the Navy. I was working at NATO headquarters, driving world leaders and delegates and dignitaries and stuff like that from all over the world. And so I went from honestly working with a lot of much older, mature people to, you know, hopping over into college, you know, with, you know, like very young, in my honest opinion, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And I was like...
How old were you when you went to ODU, when you started?
I was 22, I think, roughly.
So that's like, from what I remember, I was like the most immature 18-year-old first year at UVA ever. Like the only thing I cared about was like going out to bars, you know, pretty girls, watching sports, not at all at school. But I feel like 22 versus 18 at that college level, that's like a lifetime of like maturity gap difference. Because at 22, you've kind of got a little bit of out of your system. You're like over the fact that you have like this independence that you never had when you were, you know, growing up.
Exactly.
So you got that completely out. How did you like, were you making friends with freshmen at ODU? Or were you like, I'm 22, I'm driving world leaders around here. I'm not really curious about like Taco Tuesday and slamming shots at the, I mean, throw that to you.
Oh, it was actually really funny. I just remember being a student and being like, why are you not doing your work? Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm paying for this. You know, my parents aren't paying for this. You know, so it was kind of funny. But I loved, you know, being a part of the campus ministry there. And there were some great things that I really enjoyed about, you know, being a student. So I overall felt like I embraced everybody. I became friends with anyone and everyone, and there were some older people because I ended up being in a music program.
Okay.
There ended up being some really great older, mature people that I ended up becoming friends with as well. So I loved it. And my brother moved from Minnesota to go to school at ODU.
Stop.
Yeah.
Because you went there?
Yeah, basically.
Because he's like, I have somebody there to make it easier?
Well, you know, being born and raised in Minnesota, it's kind of like stay, you know, and just do something locally. And so he's a musician and he wanted, you know, to just do something different. So then he moved down. And
so was he a freshman when you were a freshman?
Basically. I mean, I went to TCC first for a year and then transferred over.
Yeah. Cool.
And so, yeah, we were there at the exact same time.
That's awesome. Very nice. Keegan Sawyer. Go Tiffany Jeffers. She's giving you some props right now. Give it a like and a share on any of the streams you're watching. Heather's watching. April Harrison, Rob Taylor, Krista Lesko, Joanna Kidd, Christine Payne. A lot of people giving you some props right now. So let me throw this to you here. When you're in Norfolk, before you get there, you said you were driving some world leaders around. The interviewer and me is like, can I ask who? Some of the big time people, or is that like
I called home, I was like,
Super
Mom,
DL?
I drove the president. No, I said, we drove the president of Bulgaria.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That is so cool, right?
Yeah, we drove world leaders.
Okay.
And at that time, a lot of different, military leaders were coming over from like Chechnya and Moldova and different kind of former Soviet Union countries. And I was just driving them around. So, you know, just a lot of world leaders, admirals.
Okay. So this was circa when? Which president was in office then?
Oh my goodness. Really?
Yeah. Is this pre-Clinton? Is this Clinton?
It was, I think, one of the Bushes.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, I don't know a lot about politics.
Okay, it was one of the Bushes.
Peace and love.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're driving dignitaries around and world leaders. At one point, were you ever like, this is the president of Bulgaria right here?
I drove like the Secretary of State of Spain, and you know what I mean. It was
amazing.
fun.
Yeah.
Again, I love adventure, and I loved having the special agents with their sunglasses on and their cool suits and like talking in their sleeves.
Yeah.
And like driving like we're like superheroes. I thought it was pretty.
You're like
fun.
James Bond.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Is that what you were thinking?
It was great.
So from there, you're like, all right, I'm going to leverage the GI Bill and I'm going to go to ODU. Did you ever think, oh my gosh, is this the right move? Or was it always the right move?
I would have stayed if the military would have let me stay at that position. It was so awesome. But I mean, I felt like it was a good move. What a shift going from being in the military, adventure world to like being a college student. It was a big shift, but it was good. I think it was really great. I really enjoyed the music program there.
Dawn Richardson giving you some props right now. Give it a like and a share on any of the streams. April Tiffany, she's got a very good message that I'm going to relay to you.
Oh.
She says, Tiffany has a fascinating life and life story. I know it will continue to be great. She is amazing. That's from April Harrison. Where's April watching right now?
She's near Liberty University.
Okay, I love it. So ODU, what did you study at ODU?
Music education.
Okay, why music education?
I'm born and raised Minnesota.
So music is...
It's huge.
It's in the blood?
It is. It's in the
Okay.
blood, and it is...
Why is that?
Farmers, I don't know.
Yeah.
They sing, There's like Concordia College is a big college. They're very much known for angelic singers.
Okay.
And it's just kind of normal. So it just felt right. I was in chorus my entire life and did madrigal singers and all that stuff. So I loved it. It was the easy A for me.
What's a winter like in Minnesota? Like, what's the day-to-day?
Well, when it's a blizzarding, pretty cold winter, it's just lots of layers, and it's a lot of visiting with people, like a lot of sweet. I loved going to the grocery store. A lot of people are visiting with each other, and boots and hats and gloves and snowmobiling. My favorite is Christmas, blizzarding, my grandpa's farm, and blizzarding. It was just so epic. My grandpa's kind of funny. Charlie Brown Christmas trees, that he would chop down this huge tree, get the top of it, and just put it up, and just playing Uno till all hours of the night.
I love it.
Just staying warm,
So
cutting wood, snowmobiling.
Family clearly like so important for you.
Yeah.
You meet your husband in Williamsburg, right?
Yeah. Well, we met actually in Norfolk.
Okay.
But then he transferred. He was a student. When I was in the military, he was a student at ODU. He transferred to Williamsburg, yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Well, we met at church,
Okay.
and it was like, we were friends first, and it was fun. And then my friend Caroline, awesome friend, she basically was like, you should build a friendship with someone, maybe Rob. And I was like, okay. And we started building a friendship, and oh my goodness, he's just amazing. He's fun, and I just love him a lot. We've been married for over 19 years, and we, but yeah, when he was at William Mary, he was in a band, in a ska band, and it was just so fun to go to his like concerts, and yeah, it was really awesome.
I'm going to ask you this. You have people that are watching this show, and I'm going to highlight their names in a second. Let's say you have an absolutely amazing voice that I need to encourage you to sing on the program.
What?
I did not know that, so thank you for that tip. And yes, I will absolutely ask her this.
Thanks, guys,
Dawn
for
and
putting me on
Keegan, thank
blast.
you so much for bringing this up. We will save that till the end of the show as a teaser to keep you guys watching. We will encourage Tiffany to sing on the program. So talk to me about I love these stories. My wife and I met on an airplane.
Oh.
So we have a satellite office in New Jersey.
Oh,
and
yeah.
me and this gentleman and somebody else on the team were coming back from New Jersey and LaGuardia Airport. And she was visiting her best friend in Charlottesville, and they were going straight to the vineyards after she landed. So she was like dressed to the nines, where like now when people travel, people are traveling like in pajamas,
Right.
whatever's comfortable. So
Right.
like I just finished working for a week. I think I had a tank top on and like camo cargo shorts on, and I always wear sandals. And here she comes in, and she's like dressed to go out. So she's going to stand out. Long story short, that was July 10th. By August 29th, she had moved out from New York City finance
Wow.
to Charlottesville. So I love the love stories.
Oh.
Give me yours. You and your husband.
It was just so cool. We started out with a friendship. It was super epic. And then my friend Caroline, she's in Hawaii. I love her. But now. And then, but she just kept encouraging me just to build a friendship. And so we did. And, I would go up to Williamsburg and visit him, and we'd go on dates. And if you're from Williamsburg, you know about Paul's Deli.
Oh, yeah.
You go to Paul's Deli.
That's where I grew up.
I know, I love it. I think
Yeah.
that's so great. Got to get the chicken parm sub, people. Chicken parm sub.
So you and the boo go to Paul's Deli for a couple dates? That's awesome. I love it. I love this story. Did you know right away?
No, I mean, he was my friend.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, my goodness. So, long story short,
Uh-huh.
at the church that I was a part of, different people were asking me on dates, and I would go on a date pretty much every Saturday.
Okay. Wow, look at you.
Yeah, it was
It's
pretty
popular over there. Every Saturday
It's
you
a
got
military-
a hot date.
it's a military
Get out,
town.
Tiffany. Okay.
It really was. It's a military town, and every Saturday, so I had a date until my husband asked me on a date like 4 months in
Okay.
of me going on all these dates,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh my goodness, he's amazing.
Yeah?
Like he, man, he just blew it out of the water,
Wait,
And
the
I was
first
like,
date was the chicken
first
parm?
date-
Paul's
no,
Deli?
No, the first
Okay.
date was in Norfolk at the Narrow.
Okay.
It's a theater.
Okay.
And we just couldn't stop talking during the movie. That is not normal. And
That's a
he's
good
normally
sign.
quiet,
Yeah.
during a movie, and
Yeah.
I'm a big talker. But
Yeah, you are a talker. I would think like sometimes the first dates at the movies, from my experience, sometimes can be tough because the movie makes it in a quiet setting.
Right.
So it's tough to build that cute connection.
Yeah.
But for you, it's the opposite.
yeah.
That's amazing. So after
Yeah.
the movie, what'd you guys do?
I don't even remember, but like it was just so monumental, and like,
So you canceled the next Saturday date?
well, I did continue to go on dates with him,
Okay.
and then became quickly like, oh my goodness, he's amazing,
Is it Dorota Shelley? Am I saying your
Yeah,
first name right?
yeah.
Sing now, Tiffany. I have to get back to work from lunch. I think she's watching in Alaska. Possibly she lives in Alaska.
No, she lives here.
Does she? It says Alaska. Am I wrong here? Lives in right there.
It says North Pole, Alaska. She's being funny.
Oh,
That's
she's
her-
being funny. All right, you're tricking me.
She
You're
likes
tricking
she
me
likes
right
the
there.
Elf movie, but
You're-
she's Polish.
You're a trickster. We got another comic coming in. I think is Rob your man?
Yeah.
This is a comic coming in for Rob. Rob is a great guy. Tiffany and the Boo. I'm loving this story. Doretta's saying.
Wait, is that Rob Taylor?
Yeah, Rob
okay,
Taylor.
that's different. That's our buddy.
Okay. Well, you said Rob's a great guy.
Oh yeah. No, I thought you meant my Rob. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I
It's a
think
little
he's
confusing.
giving Rob your Rob props.
Oh yeah. He is awesome.
So you guys, tell me about how you go from, Young Love, and you're at William and Mary.
Yeah.
He's at William and Mary. You're at ODU. How you guys end up here in Charlottesville.
Yeah. So we fell in love, and it was just awesome. And just getting married was just so great. We got married at Fort Monroe.
Okay.
And super epic. And but just kind of background, we actually his mom, after we got married, called us after the honeymoon and told us that she had terminal cancer. So it took a big turn, like into reality, and I thought, oh my goodness, I've got to support my man through all of this. And so, so real life things started happening pretty quickly, and I ended up getting sick pretty epically, and ended up, then getting pregnant, and all this stuff. And so, anyways, it kind of took a turn. But we've been in love, we've been consistent, and it was pretty epic. But I was actually sick in Virginia Beach, and had to have chemotherapy at one point, and had a molar tumor pregnancy, lost a baby, and stuff. And so it was a pretty hard time in our life. And then I found she does natural medicine. Worked with her and discovered that I had 24 food allergies and sensitivities and all this stuff. So moved from Charlottesville moved from Virginia Beach trying to heal to here. And so my husband, he's amazing, awesome guy, supportive, and then moved here. And anyways, I got better. I moved here and I got better.
So that was a lot for me to unpack there.
Yeah, well, it's real.
Yeah.
And like it's real, and it was like in love, everything's awesome, and literally a week
Then,
after
like,
we
life.
got back, like literally a day after our honeymoon, we found out that my husband's mom was sick, and I was like, man, I got to gear up and get my toughness here on, but then develop fibromyalgia and all kinds of things. So, came here, guys. Charlottesville's awesome. I did get better, and that's why I'm like, I'm so thankful for my husband because he persevered with me because I
Yeah.
was sick too. And now I'm back and I'm healthy and stuff like that, so it's exciting.
So day after you get back from honeymoon, mother-in-law, husband's mom, sick with terminal cancer. Walk me through that.
It was pretty devastating. I mean, he was on the ground, you know, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, my hero, he's devastated. And so she lived about a year and a month after that.
Okay.
And that was tough. That was tough. And so we would drive up, you know, students at ODU. My husband was doing a doctoral, he was doing a PhD at the time at the university. And so we would drive up on weekends and visit him in New Jersey and stuff like that and help love her and stuff like that. So that was really hard. And then I developed fibromyalgia at the same time, so chronic pain, going back to the VA quite a bit in Hampton Roads and stuff like that. So it was tough, but there were such great dates, and there was a lot of love and, you know, a lot of support in our church community, so it was pretty epic.
When you are going through this, how did it bring you closer as a couple?
Oh my goodness. I think it just definitely taught us to just love each other,
Yeah.
you know, and that, it's hard for me to say this, but one time his mom, after we were about to leave New Jersey, and he went in and gave her an extra "I love you," and she said, "You're going to be okay. You've got Tiffany now." And so I just think that,
Wow.
like, you know, my husband has an amazing mom,
Yeah.
you know, and dad,
Yeah.
and they just loved him a lot. So it was super epic to feel like, okay, she believes in me. I've got this. I'm going to support him. I'm going to love him. And then we've just been there for each other the whole time. So my favorite thing now is going on dates with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Talk to me about that.
Saturdays are epic, guys. Burton's Grill is awesome.
Babysitter?
Burton's Grill.
Well, do you guys get a babysitter?
Well, now my
Well,
daughter's
you're
a
15.
teenager.
She can
Yeah.
watch, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. We
Yeah.
haven't been on a date in so long.
No, you gotta
I
do it.
know,
Hold on, do
God,
the date.
we
Hold on to
need a
date night.
Oh, we
I will
literally were just
babysit.
talking about this. We
No.
literally may take you up on this, Tiffany.
I don't mind.
My wife is so mama bear. Remember like the first one where you're like
Oh my
super
goodness.
protective?
Oh, the first one, like blankets had to go down. You know, there was
Yeah.
all this fear. And the second one, you're like, oh, they're good.
Right. So we're still on the first one mindset.
I know, it's okay.
We will get out of that.
Yeah.
This story's amazing. So you guys like are going through some pretty heavy stuff, and it like seems to galvanize and bring you guys together.
Yep.
And then, you know, God says, "All right, now you're going to be challenged health-wise." How did that impact the dynamic?
My husband, he's amazing. He's super supportive. So that was awesome. But he did, you know, carry the load quite a bit, you know, with you know, the kids a lot and stuff. I was in bed for a long time. But it did bring us together. It brought us closer. And then I was just tenacious about trying to figure out how to get better. And so it meant tons of doctor's appointments. And eventually my kidneys and my liver couldn't handle all the medication and stuff anymore. So I reached out and found, different ways, which led up to my business, or me getting better, you know, the power of the mind and how you can heal through changing your mind and addressing memories and stuff like that. Anyways, my husband was super, super supportive, which is what I needed.
I love it. Keegan says, Tiffany's story, you'd think she'd have every right to be bitter and angry, but she's not. She's among the most joyful, giving people I know, and she takes that joy and serves other people through her job and her personal life. That's a great comment right there. You move to Charlottesville. I want to backtrack. You said, was it 26 different things that you said that you fill in the gaps there?
So after the chemotherapy, I ended up developing 24 to 26 food allergies.
Wow.
And so I was doing some diet changes at that point with Dr. Foster in Virginia Beach, moved here and started working with Dr. Brian Prax here. And he was continuing to guide, diet changes and stuff like that.
When you started changing your diet, what'd you notice?
Oh, wow. Well, since I had all those allergies, I clearly had a lot more energy. And, removing that stuff from my diet. And, so I felt significantly better. However, I was actually bitter at the time, and I was resentful because I did have some hard things that happened in life and even in the military and stuff like that. So I was still pretty heavily weighed down, honestly. So I still there was the part of okay, let's address my health. It's okay, let's address the body, and go to doctors and stuff like that. And eventually it's okay, meds aren't helping me anymore. So now I got to get medicine free, and then it was okay, let's address food, which is great, and diet and stuff like that. Adding in the proper nutritional things, vitamins, things that I was depleted in and stuff like that. And then it was what about my thought life, you know? So that's when I was able to do that, when I was in Charlottesville.
I love I love where this is going. So I'm huge with Power of the Mind.
Yeah, it's real.
Huge. It is so real. Huge with, if you like envision it and if you think it, you can almost like make it a reality into like the world.
Yeah.
Huge with power of positive thought.
Yeah.
Walk me through the like getting away from the bitterness and the anger and those like because I've been there too. Those can be like qualities where like you don't even for me personally, where like I didn't even realize how it was impacting my life, or it was impacting my life from like sleeping more, or it's impacting my life for like creating aches in my body that I didn't know were there, were there just because of where I was, where it was like impacting me from being short with people and like not patient, and not wanting to do as much of the stuff that I like to do. So I totally get. Talk to me about how you got from that to this fabulous person that you have, like, you hear this, like a fabulous energy to you.
Aw,
it's like
thanks.
positive, it's contagious. I'm sure you hear that all the time. How did you get from that to this?
Well, a good friend of mine, Heather McKean, she ended up super sick like me, kind of on a death path, and found out that she had gotten better. And she was taking 180 medications a day, tons and tons of diseases. Found out that she had gotten better, so I was like, what are you doing? And she shared with me, and I was able to learn a lot of what she was learning and doing to shift and change my thinking as well. So I just started learning about neurolinguistics programming, started learning about emotional freedom technique, the tapping technique. I started learning about different things, just how to shift my brain, address painful memories and stuff like that. So,
did you realize when you were picking up these tactics and these strategies and these aspects of way to better your life, quality of life, that you're like, you know what, I got the foundation here for a business?
Well, actually, my heart was totally like, okay, first I wanted to be helped. I wanted one of my best friends to be helped, who we went to college together, ODU, who ended up getting MS, and I wanted our son to get better. And he had a lot of signs and symptoms of asthma and all kinds of stuff. So I wanted them to get better, and so that was my heart. And so when I started getting better quickly, I was like, oh my goodness, I want to do this to help people. So it wasn't even like a business idea. It was like, I just want to empower people. I need to learn how to do this just so I can like gift this to other people too.
Amazing.
So it wasn't even like, I'm going to do this for my job. It was like, no, I want to
just... It was like altruistic, like genuine, philanthropic almost. You're like, this is what I've experienced.
Yeah.
I need to give this back because it's changed my life. So how do you go, once you start doing this and you start seeing it tangible, and we call it in advertising, tangible productivity. When you started seeing like the pop or the proof of performance working for people outside of you, what's going through your mind?
Well, I wanted to help a lot of people. And so part of my training, I ended up going to Habilitat, which is in Oahu. Well, it's in Hawaii in Kaneohe. And props to Habilitat, Jeff Nash, you're doing amazing. It is so amazing. It's a long-term rehab facility. And I was able to take what I was learning in training and put it into practice working with people that were struggling with hardcore addiction. And again, it was like, oh my goodness, if this works on people that have major traumas, hardcore addiction, have been in prison, are criminals, not everybody, but some of them, wow, how cool is this? This is going to work with everybody, So I think it was just, everything was just a stepping stone into the right direction of like, oh my goodness, I want to help other people.
Shanika Cochran giving you some love, Renee Macias giving you love, Amy Smith, Tim Ryan,
Hey
Margarita
guys.
Harrington. We got Grace watching in Richmond, 4 different states watching. Margarita says, great to see you, Tiffany. You're doing a heck of a job. When did the mindset start shifting to like, all right, this could be a business? So very entrepreneurial. Love the small business mindset. And you've been taking a risk pretty much your whole life. I mean, going from Minnesota to joining the Navy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a risk.
Yeah.
So when did you start thinking like, all right, I could have a business? Did you have an aha moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Going to Habilitat was my major aha moment. I mean, literally working with people with some of the hardest stuff and watching them shift and change and hug me at the end of the session and just I was like, oh my goodness, I want to help other people. So my friend Caroline, who basically set me up with my husband, thank you. She
Caroline, you're awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She currently lives in Oahu.
Okay.
She ended up marrying a guy in the military. So they're out there right now. And she lived 20 some minutes away from Kaneohe. So she helped me actually. She started her own business at that time. And so she said, hey, let's set up your website. Let's just go for it. She's like, I just set up my website. So I was like, okay. And at that time, I was just working for people for free. I was like pro bono. I just loved watching people get shifts and changes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. And so, yeah, that was my big aha moment. So we made the website, came back home and thought, okay, I'll work with people.
And then immediately did you get traction?
Well, interesting. I had a gentleman, I was at a training, and he was keeping a close eye on me. He really wanted me to work with his sister.
Okay.
And so as soon as I got my business up and running, he said, okay, I want you to work with her now. So, started working with him, his sister, and, and then I built consistent traction after that.
So is the business kind of like this crossroads or this melting pot of like, life coach, therapists, nutritionists? I mean, talk to me about it.
I am just going to be honest with you. So there's somebody local. Her name is Melanie Dorian. She does nutrition. She does functional medicine. She does it really well. And we have referred people back and forth.
Okay.
Because she's, I can't do what she does.
Sure.
She can do blood work, and stuff like that. She can figure out what, if there's illnesses going on, if there's nutritional deficiencies, all that stuff. And we've referred people back and forth because some people that are addressing mind stuff, need to actually address the body and
Sure.
vice versa. And so there are a lot of people that have Lyme disease or different things that their brain has gone on a loop and won't let them, their subconscious mind won't let them get better. So I don't claim to do nutritional, advice or, therapy advice or anything like that, but I do more life coaching.
Okay. Favorite aspects of the life coaching?
Oh my goodness. I love watching people go from here I am, this is what I don't want, to, oh my goodness, this is what I want, and I'm creating it now. I love hearing their stories of how they're creating it from, athletes that, had, sports performance blocks or whatever to hey, I did my ultra distance run over 50 miles, woo,
Yeah.
Hey, I just did my first, half marathon, it was awesome, just watching people just let go of limiting beliefs and stuff like that. So not only sports performance, but I like, what's my favorite parts? Oh my goodness. I also like working with kids. I've worked with some kids and they're so easy. They don't have a lot of, memories, a lot of proofs and references. So it's actually a lot easier to work with them. I love working with kids. And then, addiction, fears, phobias, trauma, pain. I like working with all that stuff. It's really easy when you understand the languaging of the brain and how, when I do a session with somebody and I'm asking them questions, they're going to speak in metaphors and I'm going to know that that's a subconscious, languaging, and I know I'm going to have to go after and shift that. And once that person gets free in that area, they can start creating the life they want. So it's really cool.
I can't wait to go down this road. Before we do, your man's watching.
Hi,
Robert
honey.
Jeffers, that's my girl. He says right now, hello, that's my girl. And then Rob Taylor just responded, you missed all the sweet boo stories, Rob.
He's going to mess with him.
Keegan says, Tiffany's husband is watching now, Jerry. Give it a like and a share. We will relay the commentary to Tiffany on the show right now. 6 different states watching, and folks across
That's
Charlottesville
great.
and Richmond. So we have, I mentioned this off air, we have 24 tenants in this building.
Right.
And 8 of them are therapists, whether LCSWs to PhDs, and you know more about this than I do. We have one nutritionist in the building, and
Oh,
I've gotten
that's
to
awesome.
know them. They stay, some of them have been here since 6-7 years, so we've gotten to know them. And I asked them, I'm like, why do you not see patients 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and grind? And a lot of them were very straightforward. The ones that we've gotten to know, they're like, this is such heavy stuff sometimes that we're dealing with that, most of them therapists are seeing therapists themselves
Uh-huh.
to help, with what they're dealing with from a day job standpoint. So where I'm going with this is, how about you? When you're going down the road and you got something where it's like, wow, I'm going to spend, an hour with, do you call them clients? With a client, and I know I'm going to go down a road where this is going to be pretty heavy. How do you yourself decompress and get back centered after these sessions?
Yes, good question. And so I tell myself it's just a story now because, people have all sorts of trauma. And in my mind, I'm like, it's a story now. I can empower them. I'm not going to hop down in the hole with them, and stuff. But my goal is to pull them out. And
Right.
so I love what I do. And it's because of the training that I've had, it's been super, super empowering to help me to still take care of myself and stuff like that and not get all bogged down with all that stuff. But mainly I love exercising, just simple things like, walking, just movement, even cleaning in my house, just being honest. We got a 3-story house. That's a lot of stairs. Just things like that is actually encouraging to me. But I also love going to the creek behind our house. I love our church has a youth and family ministry, like I mentioned before, that I absolutely love. We went to the corn maze this weekend, and thank you, Rob Taylor, for getting us out. We would have been in there for a year. But yeah, it's just fun. We just we just do a lot of fun things with our youth and family ministry, and so I think it just keeps my head above water. And then I do travel a good amount. I'm going to be going to LA
Nice.
in the near future for
Oh, yeah,
training.
for work? For a
Yep.
conference?
A
That's
training.
amazing. That's amazing. And with your work, and I'm seeing with some of the folks upstairs, they are able to they'll build a relationship oftentimes in person, and then they'll have the ability through Skype or FaceTime or through technology and the ubiquitous nature of iPhones of like doing these sessions through like this, through
Yes.
a computer. Walk me through that. I find it fascinating because I feel like it can take like an entrepreneur like you that's running a business, it could take it maybe to a different level
Yep.
where you're able to do these sessions from the confines of your home and talk with somebody anywhere in the world.
I love it. Initially, when I thought of it, I was like, that's so strange because I mainly worked with people, obviously, in person initially. And then when I went to Habilitat and I did the volunteer work, I worked with people in person. So I was like, that's kind of strange. But I started it, and because we're working with the mind, it works. So it's awesome. And I homeschool as well as, work from home. And so So it's actually super amazing that I can work on my computer in my office, and I can work with people from all over the world.
That's
so I like it
amazing.
a lot.
Do you find the business side challenging, or do you enjoy it? What aspects of the business do you not like to do?
I love our accountant, but I don't love like the
bookkeeping.
accounting stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not my favorite thing. I really love overall though my job, like, the majority of it, but yeah, accounting's not my favorite thing. So just tracking numbers and stuff like that. I've got things set up, so it's pretty nice, but our accountant, he's like tax write-offs, this and that. And
Sure.
I'm like, yeah.
How can you take it to another level?
With what part?
Your business.
Well, I am actually. Hi, Andrea, if you're watching. So we did on Maui in April. We did a talk show. That was Heather McKean, Andrea Logan White from California, and myself.
Nice.
And so we're just spreading, just scattering seed to see where it's.
Tell me about the talk show.
Yeah, the talk show was pretty epic.
Yeah, you would crush it in this setting. Like, I truly believe that, like, just getting to know you for about 50 minutes here, you should do, like, Facebook Lives and IG Lives all the time.
Actually, that's what my friend Kelly told me.
Yeah.
And I think I will at some point. And so, yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but the bottom line is we're thinking of doing, number one, we're going to, do these trainings. And if you look on mindchange.com, we are going to host a retreat on Maui next April.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be able to empower people that way through a nice retreat. And then, and then just having group sessions. I think group sessions is also something that we're considering doing.
Group sessions through, like, Skype or FaceTime. That's genius.
Yep.
Because that then takes it from just being tied to you and one spot working with somebody on an hourly standpoint to being able to like multiply it. Have you thought about like the subscription model in any capacity? where like you guys,
I don't
you
think so.
and some people that you trust, fellow colleagues that are in the same similar space, where you guys are creating content, and this content is archived or originates on a branded website or an app, and then you're able to say, all right, for this amount of money each month, you can get access to this content, and then you can do maybe the freemium model where you like get people in from, this is the free part, but if you'd like to go to the next level, it's this charge, next level, it's this charge. I think people would pay that because I think so many folks, I'll cut straight to the chase. I think so many people need someone like you in their life where they're like helping to be in some ways like almost like a North Star. Or like not a compass, but like a lighthouse, where it's like we're able to sometimes like, and I'm gonna throw this back to you. Sometimes like you're so in the thick that you're not really seeing like the forest through the trees, and you just need that perspective that is not just like right there to give some guidance and like this light to be like, look, this is where you need to go.
Yeah.
Throw that to you.
That's awesome. Yeah. So far, so my friend Heather McKean, the one that was also sick, she has written a book called Mind Change. I highly recommend it. It's so good. It gives you the basic information about the mind and how to shift when you feel stuck. That one's super good. And so, yeah, if you go to mindchange.com, you're going to find more information there. And so I'm supporting them as they create these trainings. And we're doing a training in LA and most likely in Oahu in 2020.
Nice. Tough life there.
Yeah, and then also in Orlando. So we're going to be doing the trainings and then the retreats, and yeah, we can just keep, me and Andrea Logan White, we're just going over. She's an actress in LA, outside of LA.
I think you could totally build like a subscription model, like it's called SaaS, subscription as a service, where like people would pay like $5.95 a month, $9.95 a month. You get X amount of people to do it, and they get access to this content. And this content is just this like broad strokes, where like all this kind of like robust content is archived on this brand, and it has different verticals up top, where menu bars, where it's like nutrition, and I'm speaking broad strokes, nutrition, power of the mind, positivity, whatever it is, and people accessed it. I don't know. Rob Taylor says, I would pay for a similar service right now. I'm happy to switch. Oh, I pay for a similar service right now. I'm happy to switch to Tiffany's. Renee Nicole Macias. People would pay for this, Tiffany. People would pay for it. LaTora McFarland, so proud of you, sis.
Hi, LaTora.
Love you. Jesse McLaughlin is giving you the thumbs up right now. Give it a like, give it a share on any of the streams you're watching. There's a lot of people watching you right now. So I love where you're going here. How do you stay invigorated with work? How do you stay like pushing the envelope and pushing yourself forward as opposed to like resting on what you have?
Yeah.
That's not you anyway.
Yeah. The whole resting on our, just resting on our accomplishments isn't me.
Does that work against you then? I'm the same way. And like my wife will say
sometimes to me, like, it's kind of a tricky road right there. But you want to stay, cutting edge. You know what I mean? My husband, he's a scientist, and when you're doing cutting edge research, you know what I mean? You're constantly shifting and changing and learning and growing and all that stuff. So I want to be at my best too. So I prefer like, growing and learning myself. I prefer to have, mentors guiding me as well, so that I can be at my best and, be refreshed so that I can give this away to other people.
My wife says I never appreciate what we have in the moment, that I'm always thinking about the next thing. Is that you?
You might be a visionary.
Is that you? Well, I think so. But it's like what you just said, it's like that slippery slope.
Well, I get grateful for a little bit.
Then do you get bored, or do you just like to have your back against the wall and challenge?
Well, I think it's a combination of both, and I think I think I do get bored. I just like living. I'm just being honest. When I was super sick, I felt like I wasn't giving myself permission to live.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
It was just, I was in the bed a lot, you know what I mean? And I didn't feel like I was giving myself permission to live. And when I had the molar tumor pregnancy, I was like, oh my goodness, like I could be gone. Like I need to wake up and like live,
Yeah.
And so honestly, that chemotherapy, I was like, I'm at church. Hey, everybody. I'm like, I don't know. If I didn't do the chemotherapy, I probably would have had roughly a year to live because the tumor spread from like went from nothing to like 3 months to my lungs. Wow. You know what I mean? So I thought, oh my goodness, I need to live, So I think I just want to be on the, I want to be on the edge. I want to be grateful. And I feel like I try to have some balance, with just enjoying the victories and stuff like that. Because I've seen some clients like have some epic changes and stuff like that. So I try to really embrace it and stuff like that, and then keep moving forward too. It's just really fun.
You strike me as someone that enjoys having like the pressure and back against the wall and like this like, constantly motivated to make something happen.
Yep.
This is something that's really cool here. I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. You're running a business from home, running a business that's worldwide, while homeschooling 2 of your kids.
Yep.
I mean, that is amazing.
Well, and it's amazing how it started out. It started out because our son was so sick. And so he went, my kids were in public school,
Okay.
and then our son was so sick.
You think it was from the school?
Oh, no. So Dr. Jennifer Prack, shout out. She's awesome here in town. She does, she helps children, I think she does holistic children, pediatric stuff. Anyways, she helped discover that he had some, we had a lot of different things going on, but he also did have reactions to immunizations and stuff like that. So anyways, he was very sick, and so we went from him being public schooled to, the kindergarten teacher saying, I think you should homeschool him. And so we did, and we just started relaxing and slowing down and just taking life easier, and it was just amazing. He started thriving. He healed as well. So we've really had a good experience in Charlottesville.
Yeah? Talk to us about the homeschool dynamic.
I love it. I mean, the kids are great. They love the homeschooling. They prefer it. We have a homeschool co-op that we're a part of here in town. There's about 550 kids that go there, and they enjoy that. And then they have a lot of self-teaching curriculum. And so we go to it's once a year. We enjoy the conference in, it's a homeschool convention in Richmond.
Cool.
They do it once a year. There's about 10,000 people that go there. So we get curriculum from there and stuff like that, set up their year. It's pretty fun.
How do you, as a mom, what do you want from your kids? Like I always talk about this, or this question's like often asked when we're like the family's getting together. It's like, what do you want for your son, Trey? And like I struggle to answer that. What do you want for your kids?
Well, I want them to feel loved and empowered.
Uh-huh.
And I want them to go through life and experience it and know that we're always there for them, I want them to be confident and courageous and overcome fear and to always love learning. I think that's what I want them to do.
How did it change you, having kids?
Well, I just learned, I babysat a ton of people, a ton of kids.
So you're like, I just love kids in general.
Loved it,
Yeah.
Loved it. And I think, but having my own kids, it was like so, wow, your love is just so big. Like, you know what I mean? It's just huge. And so I think it just helped me to love a lot more and in a different way, I guess. And then I think, it also stretched me and it also encouraged me to address my past, because when you have kids, there might be a memory. This is what happened to me, but there was a memory and a major traumatic memory when I was 3. And so when my daughter was 3, I went into this weird, like, is it going to happen to her? You know what I mean? And so then I got help, and started working through those things. But a lot of people will notice that sometimes, at certain ages where maybe you experience trauma or a sibling experienced trauma, you may start having fear, start going into some fearful patterns around that age. So I think it gave me a lot of courage having kids to address my past, and it helped heal me because part of what we do in the technique, you basically, when you're going into a fight or flight or freeze fright, you notice it, you shift your focus, and you go over to something really peaceful and calm. And one of the things that I used was me actually like holding, I'm gonna cry. I love it. Holding my babies, and just loving them. And that actually helped to shift my brain into like, I'm safe, I'm calm, everything's gonna be okay. So yeah, the kids.
That's amazing.
They're great.
That is amazing. I think you, just talking out loud here, I think your business model is like so primed in like today's 2019, 2020 world to like blow up, like massively.
Yeah.
Because of like how, I mean, like, look at what we're doing right now. We're streaming a show on 12 Facebook pages and have 11 states watching. I mean, your Facebook page is like blowing up. Like, for you to be able to put your content and your like perspective and your like valued foundation that's helped you and like relay it to the world, like, it's exciting.
Yeah.
What's going through? I love talking strategies and X's and O's with the couple of colleagues, and I've forgotten their names that you mentioned that you're like building this concept around. How are you guys leveraging, or what are you guys thinking about how like social and technology, how it's going to boom the business?
Well, we're hopeful. We're hopeful. And, Heather wrote the book, Mind Change. And so recently we worked on her workbook, the workbook for the part 2. In her Mind Change book, there's part 1 and there's part 2. Part 2 has a lot of the practical applications of how to shift when you get stuck. Okay. How to get healthy, how to get those healthy relationships you're looking for, how to let go of fear and such. And so we're working on another friend from Scotland, and then Heather in Maui and myself just working on her workbook for that. So we're just trying to literally create the books that go with the trainings, the workbooks, and just create these amazing epic retreats. I mean, the retreat, if you haven't looked at it yet, it's on mindchange.com. It's called the Maui Mind Spa. It's going to be epic. And it's pretty awesome. It's going to be addressing mind, body, food, relaxation. There's going to be Maui adventures. There's also going to be like yoga and exercise and just, really peaceful things like that. There's going to be like, Maui grown food. It's going to be beautiful and fun. And so, check it out.
I love it. I love it. Your husband says you're an amazing mom. Say this person's name.
Where's that?
Right there.
Oh, Biju Obi. Hi, Biju.
Where's he watching? Where's she watching?
She is in Hampton Roads currently in Newport News, and she's awesome.
She's hosting a watch party on her page. Hello, Biju.
Thanks,
Welcome
Biju.
to the show. All right, we'll throw this. You've crushed it. You've filled 65 minutes. It's been easy peasy. I want to get some specs out there for your business and how people can follow you. Before we do that, I throw this question to everybody. Heather says it would be great if you would have Tiffany share about the healing, the mind, and how the body responds. Okay, we can go down that road. Heather says, have you share some thoughts about healing the mind and how the body responds?
Healing the mind and how the body responds. Well, long story short, there is the basics of the brain. Is you have a conscious mind, your conscious thinking system, and your subconscious thinking. The conscious mind can hold 4 to 7 active thoughts at a time, and any more than that, it can go into overwhelm. The subconscious mind is so incredibly fast that it operates like a race car, okay? It operates at 400 billion actions per second. So a lot of us think, I'm consciously thinking about something. I can change it. I'm just going to basically think about it. It's not that easy. You got to learn you got to learn the language of the mind and the subconscious mind, and learning how to do that. It's actually pretty easy. And what's my point? Oh my goodness. So you can heal the body through thought. If thought can make the body sick, then thought can make the body well. So we can. The basics is you've got to learn your subconscious mind's languaging, and you've got to learn how to, address memories, address belief systems, emotions, all these things that are on basically a subconscious program. People at roughly 35, they operate literally like 95% of their patterns, behaviors, actions, reactions, emotions, all that stuff, it's subconscious programming. That's why it becomes so hard to change after 35.
Teach an old dog new tricks.
And you can teach an old dog new tricks, but most people, if they don't understand the language of their mind, they're going to feel really powerless.
Got another question coming in. Jerry, I love your show. I'm watching in Richmond right now on the lunch break. This is from Grace. Can you ask your guests about emotional intelligence and why EQ is not being prioritized as much as it should be? This actually came up with Heather's show, and it's come up on another shows of what EQ should be more prioritized in positions of leadership.
There's an amazing book called Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and it really highlights CEOs and such. Just being honest, like emotional intelligence is actually being taught, and I don't know if they're still doing it, but I heard that Google was teaching their people, doing classes on emotional intelligence and stuff like that, because it's going to make your employees actually kinder, on time, more considerate, and stuff like that. But that book is pretty epic on, just empowering you as a business person, emotionally, to have not only just emotional intelligence with yourself, but with other people, in social settings and stuff like that.
We talked about this in relation to, say, and we're not going to get into the politics piece here. That's not what the show's about. But I mean, I feel like it needs to go far and wide. I mean, I feel like we have potentially a leader now that doesn't have this skill set, and we're seeing the ramifications of it. Why do you think it's not been valued as much up until this point?
Well, I think if you don't know, you don't know. And when you know, you do better. And so I think more and more people are figuring out, oh my goodness, yeah, we do actually. I mean, you can have somebody, that's a genius, but has no consideration for their employees. I'm just going to keep it real here for a second.
Please.
In that book, Emotional Intelligence 2.0, it talked about, CEOs in other countries and just the emotional intelligence level that they have. It's pretty epic. They're actually talking about their employees, about their family members. They're saying, I understand, okay, how's your wife doing? And being on time. In America, maybe not so much emotional intelligence, sometimes with some of these really epic leaders, because sometimes you're like, oh, yay, how'd you do on your tests? But not like, hey, can you get a group of people to follow you and really actually want to be you? Can you be a CEO that someone wants to imitate? A lot of people are like, I don't want to be a CEO.
I struggle with this.
Really?
Yeah.
You seem like you've got a lot of emotional intelligence.
No,
Come on.
It's coming since we've had our son, and since my wife has helped a lot with this. But for me, it's been I have so much. I've taken one vacation. This business is 11 years old. Taken one vacation in 11 years. Pretty much have breathed and slept the business, and we've had success with it. But the opportunity cost of that success is not spending time with family, one vacation, being so linear with my thinking, where it's wake up, what needs to happen for the business to be successful. And since Trey, our son, was born, and it's totally what you said, it's given me this different, it's changed how I look at things. I was freaking getting choked up to Toy Story 3 the other day. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's normal.
The disregarded toys have such a tough life in this daycare, and I'm sitting here watching Toy Story 3 with my son, and I'm like, don't look over here, Trey. And I'm like, what is
He'll be
happening
like, just
to
release and let it go, Dad. It's okay, just let it out.
I mean, that's probably what he would say.
He'll be like, 2 thumbs up, Dad.
What is happening? But I mean, I feel like it's not valued as much as it should be. And I hope as Trey and our kids, and your kids are older than my kid, but as they get older, the curriculum, and that's one of the beautiful things that you're doing, homeschooling, but the curriculum can be adjusted so it's not just about tangible productivity. It's about a productivity that maybe is not so tangible that we can't touch, but would be emphasized more, because in the end that's going to make a better person, leader, and boss. Anywhere you want to go on that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I think emotional intelligence, I mean, it's huge, I mean, it's just huge, and I think, like I said, people 35 years old, the majority of their thinking is subconscious programs. So it's the emotions that they've been practicing for 35 years. It's the patterns, it's the reactions, it's all that stuff. So going in and shifting that stuff and learning, even for you, just being practical, drivenness is a huge thing of Americans, right? It's huge. We want to be big. We want to do stuff.
Capitalistic society.
But sometimes things can fall to the wayside, and it's okay, how are relationships? Okay, how is my... I mean, for a woman, when do I start having babies? Do I get the PhD first? Whatever. I mean, it's real.
Yeah.
And then trying to juggle all that stuff when you are highly educated or whatever, it's a lot. But the bottom line is it's really important for disease prevention to, you can still be driven, but know how to take your breaks and know how to make them good. You know what I mean? And, I think part of why I got so sick is because I was super driven. I was like, I love it. I'm in the military. This is awesome. I'm not slowing down. But in the military, I wasn't getting a lot of sleep. You know what I mean? And I was just go, 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 go. And then I went to college student again, not getting a lot of sleep, not being super disciplined, procrastinating. And then I kind of ran myself into a hole. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think, I just encourage people, slow down, learn some emotional intelligence, tips, even get sessions or whatever. You can shift, some major like subconscious programs pretty quickly with the work that I do. I just worked with a local client yesterday, and she was like, at the end, she was like, "You're really good at this." And I was like, "Thank you." Thank you. I appreciate it. Awesome. Because at the beginning of the session, she's like, "Yeah, I got this and I got this." And, at the end of the session, she's like, "Feels good. It feels calm, actually physically in her body." And I'm like, "Yay," where she's been having, physical symptoms and stuff like that. So,
do you believe in this statement where it's like, someone says, and I say this all, my mind's not going to let me get sick?
Well, some people, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'd prefer, I'm a hardcore stickler on languaging. So I would prefer that someone would say, I stay healthy.
Okay.
Because whenever you say like the not, it's like your subconscious mind's going to, you're focusing on the word.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're hearing not, and then you're hearing whatever's after that, which is sick. So I think some people that have that mindset, I think it's generally good, but my languaging that I would prefer is I stay healthy consistently.
Okay.
Stuff like that. Yeah, because the brain, we have something in us called the reticular activating system. And whatever you focus on is going to get bigger. So Jerry, if you look around the room and just look at something that's red, like if you look around, look at what's red, what's red, it's just a little example.
Yeah.
You got it?
I'm seeing some reds.
Okay, you got some reds?
I do.
Okay, how many reds did you see about?
I'd say 5.
Okay, how many purples did you see?
Well, I was only looking at the reds.
Right? It's the same thing with the mind. It's like whatever you focus on, it's going to get bigger. So if you say, oh, I'm healthy, I'm so healthy, I'm so healthy, your brain is going to... it's going to focus on that. You know what I mean? So languaging is so key. And but in session, I work on removing the resistance.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, because the reticular activating system, it will help you to focus on something, but sometimes if there's resistance under that, it's going to keep you stuck.
You're getting props from Maui right now.
Aww.
Heather is saying, sending love from Maui. Go, Tiffany.
Hey, Heather. Hi, Kent. Yay.
Kent is aloha from Maui, too.
Hey, Kent.
You're doing great right now.
Thanks, guys.
Give it a like and a share. We got people asking me to continue to bring up, get Tiffany to sing.
Oh, my goodness.
Is that a fair request? This is completely impromptu. I did not know she was a phenomenal singer. So I'm literally going to put her on the spot here. Am I being fair or not being fair? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I can if I can. I got to think of something. The only thing that I sang today is a kind of a little bit of an edgy song.
That's okay. There's no rules here.
But it is in line with the words of my job. If
you now have 11.
You think it's funny.
If this is any pressure at all, you now have 11 states watching. Tiffany,
that's fine. I work with people all over the world, so it ain't nothing but a thing.
No big. Okay, the show is yours. You're gonna sing.
Okay, sure. If it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'll get into my.
Joanna Kidd says you're amazing.
Thank you, Joanna. She's in Texas.
She's watching in Texas. I see that.
That's right. Okay, so I'll do my best.
Okay.
So I really, guys, from the 90s, I loved soulful singers. And this one singer, she's got this epic voice, so I love her. But it goes something like this.
Who is it?
Erykah Badu.
Okay. No, Erykah Badu. That's great. Yeah.
Okay. Beg lady, you gonna hurt your back. Dragging all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you all you must hold on to is you, is you, is you. Pack light, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. There you go. That's it.
That was great. That was so good. Bobby Pearson, you're doing great. Very brave to sing online. She's watching right now. Lovely Tang loves. I mean, we got like 6 heart emojis
me and Lovely used
right
to sing
now.
that song together.
Really? She's watching right now. Love. She's a gift to the world, she says to you.
She's another entrepreneur.
Really?
Outside of New York City in North Jersey.
I love it.
We went to college together.
Fantastic.
She was my roommate.
Fantastic. How can we find out more about your business?
Go to TiffanyJeffersCoaching.com.
Okay.
And I have the talk show information on there, information for the Maui retreat, and Heather's book, Mind Change.
Okay. So TiffanyJeffersCoaching.com.
Yep.
And can we now expect a Facebook or Instagram live 3 times a week from you?
Oh my goodness. If you guys really want it, I will do it.
You would be so good at it.
My husband's been wanting me to do it.
You should totally do it.
And I'm like, just trying to get the priorities in order. That's all. Because
Yeah.
I just, God,
You have a
husband,
gift.
kids,
Yeah.
work.
You have a lot on the plate, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You could totally set up like in your office.
But
like,
I'm supportive. I'm totally digging it.
Yeah.
I'm totally open.
You would crush it.
Well,
And
I
the-
appreciate your confidence in me.
No, I mean, like I'm just being a realist. And I think as you grow your following, you could start bringing people online that are watching. Instagram offers that opportunity, and then you can have like a mini sesh with them. And I think that's going to lead to more business for you. It's just
Yeah.
the entrepreneur to me. I can't help.
I know. Well, you know
I
what?
can't turn it off.
My uncle's an entrepreneur as well, and he has a steel business.
Okay,
Yeah. So hey,
it's in your blood.
It is. It really is.
You crushed it today.
Oh, thank you so much
Seriously.
for having me on.
It was
I
fun.
appreciate it.
It was fun. We went actually an hour and 15 minutes over, so this was so easy.
This is so easy.
It was
you have
easy.
the That Was Easy button, don't you?
No, you carried the show. All I was doing was asking you open-ended questions, and you were like going over. It was great. This is what we're going to do with today's show. We will archive it on iloveseville.com so you can watch it in totality. For the next 30 days, the team, Rob, she did do a great job. Sharon, she did do a great job. For the next 30 days, we're going to syndicate this show across 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, the 3rd largest Instagram community in Central Virginia, a daily e-newsletter that goes out to 119,000 inboxes every day at 11 a.m. We'll take the audio from the show and turn it into an iTunes podcast, and of course archive the show on iloveseville.com. We try to feature the best of Charlottesville and Central Virginia, and I think Tiffany Jeffers embodies those qualities. She crushed it today. We close the show with the same message, and I do not make this about religion. I do make this about treating other people in your life how you want to be treated yourself. It's the golden rule. I feel like the world, the country, the Commonwealth, and Charlottesville need the golden rule more than ever. Treat other people in your life how you want to be treated yourself. My name is Jerry Miller. It is the I Love Seville show. Tomorrow, the story of 2 more entrepreneurs, 2 ladies that are starting, that have started, that are running a business that is a subscription-based medical business where you pay as you need to get medical care, not needing the costly overhead that is health insurance. So we're going to spotlight that tomorrow on the I Love Seville show. At 3 o'clock, What's Barking Local, our animal-focused show on the I Love Seville network. We're going to spotlight 3 nonprofits that are making the community better, whether it's fostering or rescuing or building homes for dogs that live outside. They are giving their most precious commodity, their time, to giving back to Central Virginia's animal community. It's the I Love Seville show on the I Love Seville network. Enjoy your afternoon, guys. Dude, you crushed it.
Thank you.
So good. So good. Seriously.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You're good at what you do.
Thank you. I was just staying out of your way. I was like, she is great. One more thing we got to do. We got to do the hero picture.